Hello everyone and welcome back to another fly from home video. Not seen you in a while. Very busy life for me at the moment. But I thought I'd get on and record a bit of footage for you while I'm having a play around on Flight Simulator. Which is something that you've probably not seen from me before. Normally when I'm making videos on this channel I do general aviation stuff from my past and current careers as a flying instructor. But I am also a first officer for a UK-based cargo airline that flies the Boeing 737, and normally I fly the Boeing 737 Classic, the 400 and 300. But I recently went through a training course to upgrade to the next generation 737 variant, specifically the 737 Boeing converted freighter, which funnily enough is exactly what we've got here in front of us in this lovely shiny FedEx livery. Now, I thought I would have a little bit of a practice on this because I've got a operator proficiency check in a couple of days' time on this thing, so worth a little bit of a practice to sort of go back over some of the things I was learning in the simulator over the last few days, and why not show all of my horrendous mistakes to all of you guys on YouTube so you can all pull me up and laugh at me. I'm on VATSIM. I'll show you the flight plan in a second, so hopefully we should have some ATC for at least some of the flight. I'm going to try to show you a realistic setup process that we would go through in the aircraft to get the aircraft loaded, set up and away on time, which is very, very crucial for a cargo aircraft, because usually most cargo contracts come with big time penalties on them. So here we go. It's a fictitious route. FedEx don't do a in fact, let me see if I can bring it up here from SimBrief. There we go, look at that. It's a fictitious route. We don't do or rather FedEx doesn't do a Stansted Edinburgh in real life. I have done Stansted Edinburgh for my airline in the past. We don't do it anymore. So, bit of a fictitious one, but I just saw who was online on VATSIM and sort of made up a flight for it. That's the routing. We're doing the Utava 1 Sierra departure off of runway 04 at Stansted, and then coming in on the 06 at Eddy via the IMPIP 1 Echo. And have we got a map? You can get charts on this thing, I know that much. So yes, all of this stuff is all set up. I didn't realise you could get kilos, for example, on here, so I've finally managed to work that one out. But yeah, that's it. Oh, there we go. There's a map, look. So if I turn off the lock thing, I should be able to scroll through. So there's our routing. It just takes us up past Pole Hill VOR over Manchester, northbound, in rev, and then in from there. And then we'll do a bit of magic with the FMC to make the arrival into Eddy work for us. We're going to try a CDA, but I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get a little bit closer. First things first, I suppose I should try and get the aircraft set up to the point where we can start getting it loaded, because that's one of those time-consuming things about the setup. So, 1 second. So when you first arrive on the aircraft, it's usually in this kind of state. So pilot flying would immediately go into the electrical power-up checklist. It's a read and do. It's not a flow or anything like that. At least it isn't at my airline. So I'm just going to read it and do it. Battery switch, guard closed. There we go. Standby power switch, guard closed. Standby power switch is guard closed. Alternate flaps master switch. So the alternate flaps switch is up here. That's closed. Windscreen wiper selectors are both in park. Electric hydraulic pumps are both off. Landing gear lever is down. Weather radar switches doesn't work on this airplane. External power is needed. Yeah, it will be in a second. So we'll pop the ground power on like that. You can hear everything starting to spin up now. All the cooling fans and all the electronics. We will do the fire switches now, so we don't have to do them while we're refueling, because that tends to alarm the refueler a little bit if the fire alarms start going off. So make sure the master caution is out, and let's go over the test side first. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, hopefully 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, happy with that. And a fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All the lights are working. Happy days. Next item, IRS mode selectors to nav. So flip those over there. Verifies oxygen is sufficient for flight. We'll assume it's a 2-man crew, which generally doesn't need any more than 1000 psi max. We've got way more than that, so that's fine. Hydraulic and engine oil quantity. So if we go to the system page there, we should be able to see hydraulic oil quantity is on there, and it is all good. And oil quantity is slightly lower on the left-hand side, but we're fine on the engine oil quantities as well. Maintenance and library documents we'll assume are all on board. Flight deck access system. That won't work until the IRSs are aligned on the NG, which is something I learned recently, so we'll do it in a sec. Roll control change panel we don't have on this aircraft. That's something for horse operations, which is an interesting one. I might show you some of that one day. Main deck cargo door annunciator panel, we don't have one of those, but we do have one on here, which does actually respond to the lights test. So we can do the lights test now. That's working over there, and it's working on the FO side too. It doesn't look like we have any lights out. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they all look like they are working to me. So happy, fun times. Good stuff. Main cargo deck door annunciator panel. Yeah, we've done that. Emergency exit light switch guard closed. There we go. Service interphone switch off. That is up here, and it is off. I'll pop the dome light to bright just while we do this, although it is light outside. Engine panel. So everything's normal on the engine panel up here. We've got guards closed, no abnormal lights. Oxygen panel set, so that's just underneath. Guards closed, and we check the pressure, Mach airspeed warning, and the stall warners. So I'll go to this view for this one. Stop the camera spinning around. That's the Mach airspeed warners. What's it going to do, mate? It might. Okay, so this is an NG thing, which is slightly different from the classic. It won't do it until we've got IRSs. So put pin in that one along with the flight deck access system. Flight recorder switches. Yeah, it's guards closed. Let's go back to this view. Yeah, flight recorder's guards closed. Cargo smoke panel. So we should have a cargo smoke panel somewhere on this aircraft. Maybe down here. Maybe not. I'm sure I saw a cargo smoke panel on this when I was flying it the other day. They could be all like anywhere on the panel in the real world. A lot of our aircraft have them up here. It's basically a set of lights which indicate there are 2 fire detectors or smoke detectors per cargo segment, and the NG is split up into, I believe it's 11 segments, or it might be 10 segments. Can't entirely remember. No, it's 11 segments in the cargo. Yeah, because it's one more than the 400. And each segment will have 2 fire detectors in it, and if a smoke starts in any of those segments, you'll get a red light on the little panel. But it doesn't look like we've got one here. I'm sure I have seen one in this aeroplane though, so big think. Cool, so that's the cargo smoke panel. Can't really do anything with that. Cabin air shutoff valve we don't have on this aircraft. Cockpit voice recorder, so we can do a test of that. It's got the fancy one that just has a light that comes on after 5 seconds. Circuit breakers P6, so that is the first officer's circuit breakers. They look all made apart from the ones which are collared. These would be blanked off as part of the process of converting the aircraft to a freighter, because Boeing don't actually make 737 freighters from new. They all have to be converted from passenger aircraft. Crew oxygen valve we don't have on an NG. Manual gear extension door is it's over here, and it is closed. You can actually I believe, yeah, lift it up. There we go, look, it's all closed. Circuit breakers P18, that's the same story but on the captain's side, so we're all made on that side too, apart from any collared ones. And the parking brake, is unusually, because it usually is set by default. There we go, set. And it's always worth checking when you set the parking brake that you have at least some accumulator brake pressure. Otherwise, ain't nothing happening with that. So we do have a little bit of pressure in here. So that's fine. We have actually put the brakes on. We haven't just squeezed the lever and achieved nothing with the actual pads themselves. While I've been doing this, the PM would have been going out, and I'm going to walk around the aircraft, make sure nothing is broken on the outside, and then I would go into my flow as a first officer. So the setup flow, this is always done by the first officer regardless of who is PF or PM, at least at my airline. So we start coming down, checking everything's made on here. Your damper comes on, they're all normal, that's auto. Those lights should all be on, the crossfeed is closed, we don't need any fuel pumps currently. We can set this up. You can leave that on standby power and it just gives you the volts and amps constantly, but it's always a good idea while you're on ground power that you got an idea of what the battery and the ground power is giving you. These two can both go off because we're a cargo aircraft. The drive lights are illuminated, everything's closed on here with ground powers on. Bright blue lights above the engine, engine gen switches, gen off bus. The APU is not running just yet. I'm going to put the panel lights on for a bit of ambiance. Equipment cooling is both normal. Magic lights, yeah. A bit of a weird one here. We always put the seatbelt sign to on when we're flying, regardless if we've got passengers or not, which 99% of the time we don't. We do have some little seats in the vestibule behind the cockpit area. If we had it moduled, thank you PMDG, it would be, there'd be some little seats out there which quite often are occupied by crew members whenever they are occupied, which is not very often, who are positioning down route. So you would operate these seatbelt signs just in case you've got someone on there. Wipers we've already checked, window heats can come on, the probes are auto, all the anti-ice stuff. Electric hydraulics, so this isn't actually required on the PMDG for whatever reason. They've kind of missed a bit of a trick, but on the real aircraft you do need the A-system hydraulic pump pressurized in order to get the main cargo deck door open. It doesn't require it on this model because I guess they don't know much about the freighter, or they don't care much about the freighter, maybe more accurate. I don't know how many people actually fly the freighter version of this aircraft. The pressurization gauges all look fine. We've already done the voice recorder earlier on. We can set this, control cabin, and we can look at the temperature. Obviously, unless we've got anything alive back in the cargo compartment, it's not really much point having it on any of these other settings. Only when you got crew sat in the vestibule and you don't want them to freeze to death. Generally what we do is keep the cargo area cold. The thought behind that is that if there is anything back there that could potentially cause a fire, because we do quite often carry dangerous goods, we want to lessen the chance of a fire as much as possible, which is why we never fly with any lights turned on in the cargo deck, and we always cool it down as much as possible to lessen the chance of anything sparking off back there. Recirc fans, so yeah, that one's in opt, as it is in the real aircraft, so that's accurate, but the switch obviously would be set to off. Recirc fans auto, packs are off, isolation valve is open, APU is off and the bleeds are on. Our cruise altitude today is going to be flight level 340, so let's pop that in. And the landing altitude at Eddy, I believe is 240 feet, so we'll set 250, I'll double check that in a second. All the lights are off, APU's off, engine start, switch to the right for the first start, because that's on the transfer bus, so it's important that we check that that works. They're both off, logo light can come on if it works on this aircraft, quite often they're in opt. Wheel wells can come on to help the ground crew connect up the tow bar. Coming on to the eyebrow MCP panel, I'm going to be PF today, so we'll pop the flight directors on with mine first, so I get the master light there. Everything's zeroed off. We usually leave that to 99, so we know that we've not actually set an altitude for departure yet, and also leave this to 100, which is the lowest speed it will go. Then coming across from the first officer's side, so I'll move across to where I usually sit. Check the oxygen. We check these lights here, and we do have an FMC, which is enter IRS position. So I'll do that quickly, because we can do the flight deck access system, the stall warders while we're here, can't we? So let's go over here, pause in it, grab something from the GPS, throw it in there, and then we should be able to do that.
Glide slow.
Yeah.
Pull up.
And also
wind
this.
shear, wind shear, wind shear.
Happy days.
Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
Yes, thank you for the wonderful cacophony of sounds there. So yeah, we check those lights. That goes to RTO. We reset the fuel flow. Engine is ready to go on there. Coming down here, we do the cargo fire. This is the belly cargo. So there we go. 3 lights and the master fire warning. Captain's radios are fine. We'll set those up in a sec. FOs are fine. We'll set those up in a sec. That should be 2000 and standby. No idea why it defaults to transponding, but there you go. Happy days. Right, so that's the setup flow. Next thing we'd be doing is running outside and get the cargo door open, because generally we'd have ground handlers banging on the door asking us for some doors opening up. The cargo we're going to be taking today, we're taking 18.7 tons, which is very full. We're very, very heavy. So no idea what we're carrying, but we're pretty much maxed out. So I suspect we're going to be filling up the belly holes as well. So I'll get that set up, get the fuel truck on its way as well, and get back to you when everything is chugging along nicely. Okay, so the aircraft is now loading and fueling. We got some loaders on the way for the belly holes, and the main cargo gate door is open and the ULDs are going on. So it's probably a good idea to program our FMC. So I'll go down to that, and I've already put the location in. I'll pop Stansted in there for the reference airport. Next page. Okay, that can go in there. Destination going there. We are FedEx 21 Sierra. And we're going off 04 by the sounds of things here at Stansted. Departure arrival, departs 04 Tava 1 Sierra. To Tava. And then it's going to be Quebec 75 to Buzzard. Tango 420. Blaze it to Trent. Up in November 57 to Pole Hill. Up in November 601 to Inpit. And then arrival, Input Porn Echo for the ILS 06. Throw that in for now, execute it. We'll just link that up for now, probably clean it up a bit more in flight. Okay, looking good. Routes. Alternate, our alternate is going to be Prestwick, so EGP. Blah. Okay, there we go. Throw that in there. And get a perf in it. Cost index is 35. Cruise altitude is going to be 340. So I can't quite remember what the top climb winds are, or average winds. 06311. Let's have a look at top climb. Uh, 223 at 13. That's pretty light winds today. Interesting. And temperature is minus 53. So can go in that. Transition altitude, I believe for this one is 6,000. So I can go in. Normally that would auto-populate from the departure that you put in. So come on, PNGG, just pick it up. Reserves. We'll say 2.3 is our reserves. Those can go in once we've done the performance, and we're all good. So we're ready to start loading the belly holes. So they're going to be cracking on. Appears that they are, so that's good. And we got someone at Stansted Ground, so 121730, so hopefully he should be able to give us a clearance. So let's tune that in. There we go. And try and pick up some ATC, we've got it. Yeah, 127180, so let's get that on COM 2.
Cargo 60 heavy at parking 7 for shutdown.
Temperature +22, dew point +13, QNH 1017. Acknowledge receipt of information, Juliet, and advise aircraft type on first contact.
Temperature 22, dew point 10.
Stansted information, Juliet. Time 1620 Zulu. Automatic. Runway in use 04. Transition level flight level 70. Surface wind 110 degrees 11 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. No cloud detected. Temperature +22. Dew point +13. QNH 1017. Acknowledge receipt of information, Juliet. And advise aircraft type on first contact.
Okay, we've got a QNH at 1017, so before we do anything else, let's put that in. So make sure they're all set to hectopascales. There we go, 1017. 1017, and on this thing too, 1017. Right. So talking and listening on 121730, which is Stansted Ground. So hopefully you should be able to pick up some kind of clearance from this nice gentleman. Let's give it a go. Stansted Ground, good afternoon. FedEx 21 Sierra Boeing 738, stand 9 on information. Juliet, QNH 1017, request clearance to Edinburgh.
FedEx 21 Sierra cleared to Edinburgh via the Otava 1 Sierra departure, squawk 6354.
Cleared Eddie via the Otava 1 Sierra departure, squawk 6354, FedEx 21 Sierra.
FedEx 21 Sierra, back correct.
Sweet. That's the clearance done. So next thing, once we'd get a load sheet brought onto the flight deck as soon as we had any kind of load complete. So our fuel's on board. Let's get rid of him. He would bring a receipt up and we'd have to enter it all that into
Ground, good evening. KLM
stuff.
23 Alpha Tango, we are approaching.
So let's assume we've been brought a load sheet and let's put some data into this thing, shall we? So Stansted 04, dry conditions. Let's import this from the OFP, I guess. We don't know what our CG is going to be just yet. It would have it on the load sheet if we've been given one. I guess we can cheat a little bit and try and see if it's on here, but this is going to change, isn't it, as we'll get loaded. So, I wonder if it's got it on the flight plan. Bear with me. So no, it doesn't have it on the flight plan, so we're going to have to wait for the pallet loader to finish, because that's the last thing, and I'm going to read it off this payload screen here. So, bear with. So while we wait for our ground crew to do something, what we can do is set the aircraft up for the departure. So let's have a look at a chart, shall we? So SIDS Utava 1 Sierra, let's pin that, bring it up. So the stop climb, first of all, is going to be 5k. So let's wind that in on here. It's going to be straight ahead around that way to Barkway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 279 to Barkway on this thing. And I'm going to tune Barkway on my radio as well, so I'm going to have 11625 on there, with the 1105 on the standby. 1105 is going to be active on this side, and we'll have 11625 in the standby over on the first officer's side. In terms of their departure, I'm going to put 262 on theirs, which is the course after we pass. So the point of all that is to have all the radios and courses set up just in case we need to do a raw data procedure. So if we lose the FMSs for whatever reason, FMC systems, or if we lose GPS or whatever, we can still carry on to fly the SID just based on signals based on the Barkway VOR here. So that's all good. So I'm going to throw 042 on the heading, which is runway heading. And there we go. Now we should get off our performance tablet, we should get a single engine acceleration altitude. I believe it's just 1,000 feet here at Stansted. It's 350 feet elevation, so ahead of time I'm going to set my bug to 1,350 feet, which is going to take 64 years. In the real aircraft, these don't really, you can see it's rotating around on here. In the real aircraft, it doesn't rotate round. It just sort of moves and then stops. So you can kind of hold it to the detent, and it does kind of wind up a lot quicker than this, but it is a bit of a pain in the real aeroplane as well. In the Classic, it's just literally a orange mechanical bug on your mechanical altimeter, which is really easy to set. There we go. We'll do that on that side, and then to avoid having to repeat the process on the first officer's side, we'll do a little bit of cheating. So I'm going to do control panel both on one, back to normal, and that'll duplicate it over on this side. That is not a Boeing approved procedure. Do not do that if you are a real pilot flying the 737NG. Spoiler alert, I'm not at the moment flying a real NG, I'm flying a sim at home in my pajamas. So yeah, maybe don't do that in real life, but it's definitely a shortcut you can use if you're doing a bit of flight simming. So there you go, bit of insider info. So fantastic, the loading has now completed.
X1 go for 2, stand to
Release
4 to
that.
pressing start.
So we can now see that our takeoff CG is 23.7, so I can throw that in. There we go, pack's going to be on. We'll import the weather, and we'll calculate it. How do I do this config? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? There we go, that's done it. Right, so it's, yeah, it is giving us an acceleration height of 1,000 feet AGL, so that's what we've set on there in case you have an engine failure. Flaps 5, N1 is going to be 91.18, takeoff 1 for the climb, or for the takeoff, sorry. Select temperature 42, trim is 5.1, 140, 140, 145, 147. So we'll put that in a sec. We'll do our briefing now. So I would sit down and I would say, okay, Mr. First Officer, even though you are a snotty oik, I'm going to fill you full of lots of important knowledge now. Weather and NOTAMs, there's none to affect our flight today. The taxi is going to be, oh, also, we've got a serviceable aeroplane. Everything's working, which, by the way, almost never happens on a cargo aeroplane. Taxi out is going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to push back from here, and we're going to go all the way down that taxiway there, most likely. Should probably have the chart up for this, shouldn't I? Yeah, there we go. So we're going to come out of here. We're probably going to be Alpha to Juliet or Alpha to Hotel here. All the way to the end, or to Kilo, one or the other. If it's Kilo, there's going to be a slight performance position shift, so we'll make sure we do the performance from either of those, make sure it's all okay.
Sunset UPS 401, ready.
Realistically, we'd probably do the performance from like Lima here, or maybe even November, if we wanted a really quick departure, but I don't know what the VATSIM guy is going to give us, but we'll have to see.
840.
The departure is going to be on Otava 1 Sierra. It's going to be straight ahead to 2 miles on there. So let's see. Yeah, straight ahead 2 miles, and then left-hand turn around the corner, 3,000 or above. Yeah, left turn around the corner, 3,000 or above. To Barkway at 5,000, then Otava at 3,000. Barkway at 5,000, Otava at 3,000. That all checks out. I'm going to leave all those altitudes in there just for added redundancy. I know we've got it up here, but we'll leave those in there. Some pilots like to take those out and just rely on the MCP, but I'm not going to do that. Worst case, we'll use level change or just keep hitting the alt intervene to get rid of the restrictions if we get a climb straight out of here, which is what I expect is going to happen. Okay, so on departure, we'll line up. Before 80 knots, if anything goes bang, we will stop regardless of what it is. After 80 knots, we'll only stop for fires, engine failures, blocked runway, loss of control, cargo door warning, or predictive wind shear. Above V1, we're just going to take it airborne, and between the runway and 400 feet above the ground, we're just going to fly the plane. I'm happy, Mr. Hypothetical First Officer, if you identify what the problem is and turn off the loud alarms if we do have some kind of fire. Once we get to 400 feet, I'm going to ask for heading select, and I'll ask you to identify the faults. And at that point, if there are any memory items, we will carry them out. If not, we're just going to carry on up to our single engine acceleration altitude, which is going to be 1,350 feet. At that point, I'm going to ask for up speed, and we will retract flaps on schedule. It's got flaps up, no lights. I'm going to ask for level change and max continuous thrust set. Once we have that, we're going to make some kind of turn. So let's go to Barkway. Right there. And let's have a 25-mile ring for the sector safes. Worst case MSA is 2,100 feet, so let's go to 3,000 feet, and we're going to hold there and sort our lives out, basically. Okay, primary option is going to be come back here. It's a nice long runway, and there are lots of fire services to come and put us out. If we've banged an engine all over the runway and made a mess here, we can go to Luton, which is just next door. The weather's also lovely there. Or we can go to Heathrow, or we can go to Gatwick, or any of those sorts of things and make our problem their problem. Although they're going to be full of lots of other aeroplanes, so I would rather not go and ruin their day, if at all possible. So Luton's going to be the main one that we'll aim at. If something goes bang further up departure, then probably East Midlands or Birmingham are going to be our best options. Probably East Midlands, nice long runway there, and it's a bit quieter than Birmingham. Any questions, Mr. Hypothetical First Officer? Oh, no. Okay, fantastic. And any questions from you at home? I don't care, because none of you can answer me. Do a bit of that, make sure we've done that. So then we will go into the pre-flight checklist. So oxygen tested 100%, instrument transfer switches are in normal and auto. Passenger signs are on, window heats are on, pressurization panel is auto and set. Flight instruments, heading 223 once and twice and 3 times. Altitude 340 feet, 1017. Auto brake is set RTO, parking brake is set, engine start levers are cut off. Taxi and takeoff briefing is complete, EFB battery and day spaces are checked. That's the pre-flight checklist complete. Let's do the performante. So, flaps 5, runway 04, takeoff gross weight 64325, selected temperature 42, 140, 140, 145 and 147. Happy days. So let's go back to that. So we've got a zero fuel weight of 58.3. Give me a takeoff gross weight of 64.3. That checks. Executes. Through across to here. So select temperatures 42. And the outside is 22. Shut up. Giving us FMC calculated takeoff thrust of 95.3. That's quite a lot more than that, but hey ho, more is better than less, so I'm happy to accept that. It's going to be flaps 5 with a takeoff CG of 23.7. In there. Throw those off, and we got 140, 140, 145. And we immediately set this to V2. Like that. And we are all cool. Okay, we're pretty much good to go. So let's fire up the APU. Make sure we get rid of all the ground stuff.
UPS 8401, contact London 127.105, bye-bye.
Hello, 105, switching. UPS 4.
Okay, APU's on the bus. Ground path can go. Chocks can go. Pushback. Let's pull up a tug. And we'll assume that we're all buttoned up now. So first officer whacks those on. And we are ready for the before start checklist alone. Okay, flight deck door closed and locked. Fuel is 6 tons. 4 pumps on. Doors are closed. Windows are locked. MCP. V2 145 heading 042. Stop climb altitude 5,000 feet. Takeoff speeds. Bugs. We've got V1 140, VR 140, V2 145. And top bug is going to be 155. No, 160. So top bug's 160. Stamp trim is in fact 4.8. Let's set that. Should have done that when I put the perf in, but never mind.
Connect 1 Golf Hotel, contact London 127.105.
But I am today. Be afraid. Stamp trim
London
4.8 units.
127.105. Thank you for your service. Bye-bye.
Speed brake is down. Oh no, it isn't. There we go. Speed brake's down. CDU pre-flight's complete. PEDs of flight mode and stow. That's complete to the line. So then I'd have a chat to Mr. Tugman. So
Cockpit to
let's
ground.
do that.
Go ahead. We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our left. Roger that. Ready to push. Tail to the left. Park brakes off.
Okay, so let's do the flow bit for the first officer.
Spencer ground, KLM 23 Alpha Tango ready for push and start.
There we go.
KLM 23 Alpha Tango, stand 6 tree, push and start approved.
Push and start approved, KLM 23 Alpha Tango.
And KLM 23 Alpha.
Okay, before starts below the line, hydraulics are on. Transponder is alt off, rudder and aileron trim is free and 0, and the anti-collision light is on before start check is complete. And now we ask for permission. FedEx 21 Sierra, stand 9 and request push and start.
FedEx 21 Sierra, got that now, stand 9, push and start approved.
Push start approved, stand 9 and FedEx 21 Sierra. Right, release the brakes, away we go. Okay, let's assume we've had clearance to start. So first officer would go bang and start his stopwatch. So we're now monitoring the N2 as it comes up. Looking for 25%. There we go. Throw it in. We're looking for fuel flow initially. So that's pretty normal looking fuel flow. EGT is rising normally. And we're looking for 56% for the switch to knockout. And the start valve open light should go out shortly after that. There we go. Start to cut out.
Pushback complete. Park brake, please.
There's your brakes, Mr. Tugman.
Brake set.
And one's rolling as well. Starter cut out, we've got 2 good starts. Sweet, Tugman has disappeared, so now we can do the before taxi checklist. Or rather, sorry, before we do that, I would call for takeoff flap. Which would then trigger the first officers for taxi flow.
Stansted ground, kilometer 3 Alpha Tango ready for taxi.
KLM 23 Alpha Tango, taxi holding point Kilo 1, runway 04, via Juliet, Link Lima, Hotel, and Kilo.
Okay, before taxi checklist, generators are on, Peter heat on, or rather probe heat on, anti-ice not required, air conditioning pressurization, packs auto bleeds on set, engine start switch is continuous, recall is checked, engine start levers idle D10, flight controls. Ooh, okay, better do these. Are checked. Ground equipment's clear before taxi checklist completes. FedEx 21 Sierra, request taxi.
FedEx 21 Sierra, taxi holding point Kilo 1, runway 04, via Juliet, Link Lima, Hotel, and Kilo.
Taxi holding point Kilo 1 for runway 04 via Juliet, Link Lima, Hotel, and Kilo. FedEx 21 Sierra. Okay, so we're going along here. Juliet to Lima, and then up to Kilo here. The holding point is Kilo 1, so that's where we're going from. So, cool. Happy days. Did we put Kilo in the performance? I don't know if you can do Kilo in performance. Doesn't let you do... that's a bit rubbish, isn't it? Nay mind. The proper Boeing OPT actually allows you to do performance from different holding points. But we'll not blame PMDG too much. It is a pretty impressive tool for what it is.
FedEx 23 Alpha Tango after the KLM 23 Alpha Tango after the FedEx Boeing 737-800 joins Juliet, continue taxi.
After 737, we'll join Juliet and continue taxi kilometer 3 Alpha Tango.
Now, forgive me if my taxiing is a bit rubbish, because, as you might imagine, I don't get an awful lot of opportunity to taxi the aeroplane, given that the tiller is only on the captain's side. So the only time I ever get to do it is when I'm warming a seat up for someone in the simulator. Surprisingly hard to set the right thrust settings to actually get it rolling and keep it rolling, but also not go too fast. Don't really want to be going any faster than 20 knots on the ground speed, so keeping an eye on this down here. And as I'm doing that, I'm going to do our takeoff review. So, it's going to be a flap 5 departure from Kilo 1 at Stansted. Centre pumps are off. There's no emergency turn, emergencies are as briefed. It's a Utava 1 Sierra with a stop climb of altitude 5,000 feet. Last chance for any questions. Oh, what a surprise, there aren't any. So, PM is then going to go to the legs page, and this van is suicidal, so we're just going to go head on with it. Whee! Lima is almost the last one, so we've got to make sure we don't miss it, otherwise we're going to look really silly trying to spin it around on the compass base. Make sure we got traffic turned on both our displays here. So there's going to be 1, 2, and Lima is the third. Mr. Chanex, which is of course the call sign for Jet 2. otherwise known as Yorkshire's favourite airline. It should be a lovely sunset departure. I should have timed this beautifully, but we'll see. Of course, this time of year, freighters don't do a lot of flying in the daytime, because we usually operate when the airport fees are the cheapest, late at night. So winter is usually just the life of an owl. It's not really sort of career when you get much of a suntan, really, being a cargo pilot. So this should be Lima here.
Response to the ground pad, Channel
Yeah,
5,
it
Victor
is.
Echo vacated 04.
Channel 5 Victor Echo, welcome to Stansted. Taxi stand 2 to left via Hotel, Link Bravo and Bravo.
Hotel, Link Bravo and Bravo to 2 left, Channel 5 Victor Echo, thanks.
FedEx 21 Sierra, no further ATC is available. North Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
Unicom 1228, thanks for the service, FedEx 2 on Sierra. Oh, that sucks. Oh well. They always decide to go to bed when I come flying. Okay, so let's do the before takeoff checklist now. So cabin is secure, flaps 5 pan, 5 indicating, green light. Stab trim is 4.8 units. Takeoff briefing is reviewed before takeoff checklist. Complete, and we are ready to go. And I've got to put 1228 in there somewhere without falling off the taxiway. Okay, let's put parking brake on and put this to Tarar and have a look for any, actually that's actually on, for anything on final approach. I can't see anything there, I can't see anything visually, so we'll make a radio call and then we will line up. So let's do the line-up flow before we do that. Let's go terrain both sides because the weather radar doesn't work, and that's already on. Stansted traffic, FedEx 21 Sierra Boeing 738 holding point Kilo, lining up runway 04 Utaba 1 Sierra. Okay, let's assume we've been cleared, so auto throttle arms. Now the way I'm going to fly this is the way my operator flies the NG. It's not the way most operators fly this aeroplane on the departure, because most of you will be used to seeing...
Off Tango, we are at the holding point Kilo 1, we'll wait for the FedEx to depart before landing up.
Thank you, mate. Most of you are used to seeing LNAV, VNAV on the ground and straight off into that. We don't do that, we do something a little bit different because obviously we have to standardise for the classics as well. So, anyway, I'll talk you through it as I do it. Just before, I'm just preempting the comments of, you're not doing it right. FedEx 21 Sierra taking off from A04 Stansted. Set thrust. Thrust set.
KLM 23 Alpha Tango,
Okay,
we're landing up runway 04 and we'll wait. So KLM 23 Alpha Tango.
Rotate.
V1 rotates. Positive climb.
Positive rate of climb.
1 rate. 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 LNAV. N1. Speed up.
Standard traffic, KLM 23 of Tango. We're taking off from the Tower 1 Sierra departure for runway 04.
Flaps 1. Flaps up. Okay, we'll come around this corner, out acquire MCP speed, and we're going to go onto the autopilot. I'll do the after takeoff checklist and all that good stuff and decide what we're going to do about the altitude, because obviously these altitude restrictions are kind of holding our progress up a bit. I was expecting a bit of ATC to help me out, but they've all gone to bed. So we're just going to have to do something sensible with the altitude settings. Dust's coming up, so the nose is going down. That's pretty realistic. Very quite a large thrust to pitch couple with the 737. Let's get the trim in, and then we can.
Standard traffic, KLM 23 of Tango, climbing to 2,000 feet, airborne off of runway 04 on the Tower 1 Sierra departure.
Smart beat commands. In fact, ADA command. What am I doing? There we go. FedEx 2 on Sierra. On track Barkway with Tower 1 Sierra. We're climbing straight to flight level 340 now. We're just going to go all the way up to the top. There's nothing to stop us doing it, so YOLO. We'll continue to follow the whole procedure though, without giving ourselves too many shortcuts. There we go. Let's hit the VNAV. And we're going to have to hit Alt into vent a bunch of times. There we go, we're all good. And altimeters standards. Standard set, passing flight level 51, cross checked. Look at that sunset. Okay, let's do the after takeoff flow. Now, that should have been done with flaps up, no lights, but I was hand flying at the time, so I couldn't do that.
KLM 23 Alpha Tango. We're going to be climbing up to flight level 180 on the Tower 1 Sierra departure.
Should have changed this MCP actually, because this is not the one that we've got in our aeroplanes. So also we have this set up heading up as well, and set the track up, but never mind. Right, let's do the after takeoff checklist now. So, after takeoff checklist, engine bleeds are on, packs are auto, flaps up, no lights, landing is up and off, and the APU is off. So after takeoff checklist completes. There's flight level 100. Check altimeter set, climbing flight level 340, and then we do the little check here. So we do 2 on there, 4 on there, and fuel flow should be about 6 when you add them 2 up. So near enough. We're looking good, we're pressurizing properly. So it looks like we're going to have a nice bit of tail. Well, I say nice little bit. It's only 20 knots, but it's better than nothing. So that's going to speed us up a little bit as we come around the corner at Buzad. Come on to here. We can have a look at the map. And look at that. We can have a look at the local map and we can see what we're flying over. So we're just heading towards Milton Keynes, the home of the roundabout, and the Red Bull Formula One team, who are not having a great time of things at the moment, much to my eternal delight as a McLaren fan. Formula One fans and will understand what I'm talking about, I'm sure. I'm going to put the flight path vector on. Now, not everyone likes flying with this thing, but effectively, if you're an Airbus guy, you know what this is, because this is up all the time. This is the little bird thing that Airbus guys like. I found in the simulator that when you've got raw data, so when your fly director is off, this thing is actually really useful, especially for flying raw data approaches and things like that. So I usually have it on just in case, because if we were to lose all the guidance from the flight director or something like that, I could just line the wings there up with the horizon, and I know I'd be flying level and relatively straight. So to me, I like it. Not everybody who flies the NG does, but I do. Now, as we're cruising up here, we're not going to have a huge amount of time to sit around and twiddle our thumbs in the cruise, unlike people who do longer legs or longer sectors. It's going to be a pretty rapid one. So we've got to kind of think about what we're doing. The first officer, or the pilot monitoring actually, would be filling out the PLOG at the moment, the pilot log, and making sure that the fuel burn was all up to date. But I don't have a pilot monitoring, so let's do it ourselves. Let's have a look at the progress. So at Welling, it's estimating we're going to have 4.7 tons of fuel. So let's see what the flight plan thought we were going to have at Welling. Where's the fuel? Fuel on board, there we go. So, Welling 4.2, we actually got 4.7, happy days. So, we've actually got 500 kilos above minimum divert at this point, which is all nice. It's another, well, it's about a 10 minutes of flying around, cruising around in the hold, or we can put towards flying another approach if we need to at Edinburgh. So, cool. Happy days. Put that back to the climb page. Something else we may want to do at this point, our airline's pretty hot on engine trend monitoring, although technically speaking the auto throttle should be out for this, so it's not really a good idea to do it in the climb. I know a lot of our crew members, not saying this is me at all, but I still think this is a pretty good idea. Just take a photo of all the engine instruments and stuff. And it's for maintenance's benefit, basically. We're just checking that all the parameters on the engine are what they should be at this phase of flight. But what they do say is that the autothrottle has to be disconnected for at least sort of 2 minutes or a minute or so before you can do that. And I don't really want to run the risk of disconnecting the autothrottle in the climb, so I'm going to leave it as it is. If you're a two-man crew, of course, you know, PF, if they're happy to knock the autothrottle off and just monitor things, that's fine. But I'm on my own in this flight deck today, so I'm not going to make life any harder for myself. And also, it's a plane made of pixels, and I don't think there's anybody looking for a trend monitoring off this thing. Sorry for the immersion breaker there. So that's one thing we'd be doing. The other thing we'd be doing is thinking about being on fire, which is what cargo pilots do a lot. So we're always thinking about worst case scenario, and worst case scenario for us is a fire on the cargo deck, because when that deck is full of ULDs, which are the big container things that go into cargo aeroplanes, then we can't get back there to fight a fire with a fire extinguisher. There's no cabin crew back there either. So even if we could get to it, it would mean one of the flight crew members going back there and trying to fight the fire with a little BCF extinguisher, which, you know, if you've got a pallet full of dangerous goods on fire and the cargo deck is filling with all sorts of nasty gases, it's probably not what you want your crew members doing. So the cargo bay is actually rated for a certain amount of time. So it's rated to give us an amount of time to get the aeroplane on the ground while it's fully on fire. So it will contain the fire for us. What we've got to do is try and get on the ground as fast as possible. So to facilitate that as we're cruising along, we're always sort of, in a slightly paranoid way, thinking about where are we going to go if we burst into flames. So we could put East Midlands in there. I did mention East Midlands on my briefing. So if I put a 50-mile ring around that, and a 15-mile ring around that. So we're really much too close to get into East Midlands. We're only coming up to 15 miles away now. So we're way too high and way too fast to be dumping it into East Mids. So that's probably not a good idea. So let's try Manchester. So Manchester's actually the perfect distance at the moment. It's just coming up to 50 miles away. So what the 50 and 15 mean is that we should get ourselves down to 3,000 feet AGL before that 15-mile ring there. And the 50 mile is about the right time to do that if you descend basically almost at the barber pole with the throttles at idle and the speed brakes out. So that's what we would aim to do. We'd also aim to get lined up with the runways, and I think it is 05 probably at Manchester at the moment. So you'd probably put something like that in there and give yourself a runway centre line. So you could line up on that 15-mile ring on the 050 coming out of that. In fact, that's a radial, isn't it? So you'd want 230 slash. There we go. So you'd want to be on that as it intersects the range ring, and that should give you a really good chance of picking up the ILS and then basically just flying a normal approach, and you'd try to stay as calm and measured as possible as you were doing that. I know, not the easiest thing in the world if you've got a cargo deck full of hazardous materials that are on fire, but you'd certainly give it a go. Okay, 1 to go. So PF would stick his hands on the controls as the aircraft levels off, just in case the aeroplane decides to start doing something a little bit weird. Throttle's coming back nice and gently there. Something the NG does much better than the Classic is the throttles. These are all FADEC, so there's no actual physical cables running under these, so they move very smoothly, and the auto throttle is very accurate. The auto throttle in the Classic can be a little bit janky, and sometimes in rough conditions it needs a little bit of help. You sort of have to shove it up and down manually to stop it from getting a bit too slow at times, which from what I hear the NG does too if it's bad enough, but it certainly isn't as bad as the Classic. The Classic, you can get quite a big throttle thrust lever stagger, so one will be significantly before or behind the other one, which is a pain in the backside when you're trying to fly approaches and the thrust levers are sort of wonky to achieve the same thrust, because there's a big yaw effect from one engine being slightly higher than the other, which can really throw you off on an approach, which is not what you want. So that's one of the things I really like about the NG. Some of the things I don't like about the NG compared to the Classic is it's very sensitive in roll, as opposed to the Classic, which is quite steady. Classic feels like a more stable aeroplane. You can generally fly it a lot more smoothly and accurately by hand than you can the NG, whereas in terms of speed it's a lot easier to maintain a very accurate speed, for example on final approach using throttle position with the NG. But when you're kind of fighting the airplane, when you're asymmetric and things like that, certainly in terms of doing those sorts of things in the simulator, the NG is more of a handful than the Classic is. So the NG makes your life a lot easier. These displays are lovely and much clearer, much easier on your eyes than the displays in the Classic are, but it also makes your life harder if you've got to do a bit of that pilot stuff and start hand flying the plane. Which one do I prefer out of the two? Would kind of depend on what I'm doing. If it's a lovely sunny flight from Stansted to Eddy on a early autumn evening, probably prefer to do it in a Classic. If it's 3 AM and the weather's awful and I'm flying into some short runway somewhere, probably prefer an NG. But that's just my opinion. So let's do a top of climb panel scan. So let's check the LTRs, they're all happy.
Manchester traffic Lufthansa 947
And the
taking off
gens are
runway
good too.
05 left.
Split that out of there, and we can just monitor the volts and the amps on there as well. That's all looking hunky-dory to me. Pressurization is lovely and stable, and everything is as it should be. Lovely. Right, so we're just coming up to Pole Lee. Bit of random turbulence. It's coming up to Pole Hill VOR in about 21 miles, and we're not far away from our top of descent, so we should really start thinking about setting up the approach. So we'll try and get an ATIS.
Visibility 9 kilometers. Broken 900 feet. Overcast 1,600 feet. Temperature +12. Dew point
Canadian
+12.
542 departing runway
QNH 1024. Acknowledge receipt of information echo. And advise aircraft type on first contact.
Cool, so the weather at Eddy, a little poorer than when we set off. Broken at 900. So it's going to be a fairly late point that we're going to see the runway, but never mind. We'll do our best. So let's see. LS06. Okay, we've got some altitude restrictions here we need to be worrying about, so that's slightly annoying, but never mind. Final fixes there, 4 or above there, 177 knots, and what it's got there, 157 at 4,000. Yeah, right, I'll take that. That's not too bad. Just depends on whether we're actually going to get to Tartan or not, or because I do believe there is some ATC at posh houses at the moment, so I guess we'll see. Although no, it's just ground, so we can pretty much do what we want. But we'll follow this routing just for the sake of being proper. So we'll leave it there. Okay, let's do a brief real quick. So it's going to be INPIP 1 Echo to flight level 260 INPIP. We've already seen that's in the box. And then 200 in Rev, then Escdo to Tartan, and then Tartan I've just linked it up to the centre fix. Tartan's set that up flight level 70. Just going to make sure, yeah. I'm going to dump that out because otherwise it's going to give us a much too steep, perhaps potentially giving us a bit of a steep descent from there, although it doesn't look too bad. We'll see what we can do in Rev at 200. In fact, you know what, I can just dump all of these out. We'll make the initial restriction at INPIP, but the other ones we'll just ignore and just go straight in, which is almost always what they'd give you at Edinburgh. I know from personal experience. So that's the star. We're probably going to be following it, but not paying too much attention to the altitude restrictions on that. The approach is going to be ILS 06 at Eddy, so let's set some frequencies up. It should be 1089. Zero 60. Just double check that elevation. 130, so actually I've overestimated this slightly. Let's go 150. And 310 on the medium R. So give me about 24 years. Okay, 310 on the barrow on both sides. That I definitely sat on both sides and didn't do that trick with the switch again. So it's going to be a right base for this one. I'm going to be aiming to be about 180 knots, flap 5 coming into base leg. Gear down 15 by 6, fully established, fully configured by 4. We'll do a flaps 30. I'll set auto brakes 2. We'll deal with the performance in a second. And that's that. If everything doesn't go well, we'll go straight ahead to 3000 and as directed. I'll assume that's going to be in the box. Yeah, it is. Straight ahead. And so, yeah, so that's fine. It's just we'll just vector ourselves around climbing 3000 feet. 368 for the uniform whiskey. I should probably put that in. Not that we've paid that much attention to NDBs. But it is good for situation awareness to have that tuned in. We're quite a long way away, so we're not going to have that. Top of descent's coming up, so let's throw 260 in here now. Yeah, so Eddie's a very hard place to get lost at. We're going to be landing 06, coming down here, probably come off either at the end or at Charlie 1, and then parking on the North Apron where all the cargo stuff is. So it should be nice and easy, and that is top of descent. Probably make a radio call. FedEx 21 Sierra descending flight level 260 in PIP 1 Echo. Oh, Eddie approach is now up, 121205. I guess we'll pre-tune that. Presume that we're going to be talking to them at some point. Sounds good. We should have some ATC on the way in. That'd be nice. Right, let's double check. We've got 1021 set on all of these. It's one of the great things about the NG. You can pre-select stuff. You might be thinking, oh, why didn't I have it on the integrated standby instrument? You would normally leave your QNH on this thing in the cruise, unless you were doing a particularly long flight, in which case you would flip it over to standard, just to make sure you don't get mixed up with the QNHs if you leave a QNH on here. So, didn't bother flipping it over because it's really quite a short flight here. Right, we should probably do the descent checklist now, shouldn't we? So, descent checklist. Pressurization, landing altitude, 150 feet. Recall is checked. Auto brake 2. Landing data bugs. Okay, we'll hold it there because we don't have any landing data yet. Let's. I'm presuming we're going to have flaps 30, 144. So 144, 164, and 310 Barrow. Approach briefing's complete. Descent checklist complete. Saying it's steep descent up to in-rev. Still check that. Doesn't look steep to me. It's fine. But we'll see. If we're not coping with it, we'll start to throw some drag out. And we can always give ourselves some more track miles because we're not yet inside the zone of control for Eddie, so we can just sort of like go out here or something if we need some more track miles. I don't think we'll need that though. Famous last words. Let's do some perf. I do not expect we are going to be one to go. Let's continue down. I've deleted all those. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have deleted all those stop altitudes. What's the next one? In-rev at 200. Let's just go to that until we're in contact with these guys. We're still quite a long way outside of their sort of responsibility, so we could probably get away with going a bit below that, to be perfectly honest. Tell you what, let's just set 70, because that was, we know we can make it in from Tartan at 70, so quite happy with that. Let's just keep coming down for now. Go back to doing the performance. Okay, what's it saying? Auto brakes 2, what's 3 saying? I should probably do auto brakes 3 then by the looks of things. Alright, let's go auto brakes 3. I don't know if that's factored or not. but if it isn't factored, then that's actually surprisingly long. I know the auto brake does work slightly differently on the NG and the Classic. I'm not quite familiar with what auto brake settings you'd normally use at Eddy with an NG. I know we can always get away with 2 with a Classic, and sometimes even get away with 1, but we'll go for 3 for a bit of safety, and we can always just stand on the brakes if we need to and disconnect the auto brake. Okay, we're now on track to Tartan, and it's giving me drag required. Okay, supercent up to Escto. Okay, well, looks like we're maintaining it okay, so I'll ignore that for now. Just keep an eye on it. Let's say, throw that in there. I suppose we should put some info into this thing. So it is -3 and 1024. See if we can get some descent winds. Maybe it'll do that for us, maybe not. Lovely sunset. You do see a lot of these when you're flying around this sort of time. Oh, as if by magic. Just realised I put the wrong QNH into there. It's a critical error. So before we contact ATC, let's fix that. There we go.
Easy 67 Tango, speed 220 knots.
Denver 220, easy 67 Tango.
Radar, good day, Ryanair 53 Golf November with you on the ACPAD 1 Echo arrival, flight level 110, descending flight level 70.
Ryanair 53 Golf November, Edinburgh Radar, good evening, information Echo and descend flight level 80.
Checking Echo and descending flight level 80, Ryanair 53 Golf November.
Edinburgh Radar, good evening. FedEx 21 Sierra, Boeing 738 information Echo QNH 1024 on track Tartan, descending flight level 70.
FedEx 21 Sierra, Edinburgh Radar, hello, turn left, heading 310 degrees, descend to altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1024.
Left turn heading 310 degrees, descend to altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1024, FedEx 21 Sierra. Call. Get off the standard.
7 Tango, descend to altitude 4,000 feet.
So that looks to me like a direct centre fix. So how are we doing? Not great. Yeah, let's get some speed brake out.
Golf November, leave Tartan, heading 280 degrees, speed 220 knots.
Leave Tartan, heading, apologies, repeat the heading for 53 Golf November.
Ryanair 53 Golf November, leave Tartan, heading 280 degrees, speed 220 knots.
Leave Tartan, heading 280 degrees and speed 220 knots, Ryanair 53 Golf November, thank you.
Easy 67 Tango, speed 180 knots.
180 for easy 67 Tango.
1,000 foot high, it's not the end of the world, but not ideal, so we'll try and get that under control as soon as we can. We've got speed brakes out.
Easy 67 Tango, turn right, heading 030 degrees, descend to altitude 3,000 feet, clear ILS 06.
030 down to 3,000 and clear ILS 06, easy 67 Tango.
Oh, this tailwind is doing us no favours. Okay, let's do a level change and throw the speed up to 250. us a little bit more rate of descent. Altitude 10,000 feet. Check. QNH set. Descending altitude 6,000 feet. MSA is, I think it's about 4,100 around here. Let me double check.
FedEx 2 on Sierra, descend to altitude 4,000 feet.
Descend to altitude 4,000 feet. FedEx 2 on Sierra. Set and checked.
ED67 Tango, establish 06.
Is 67 Tango, thanks.
Yeah,
There's no
4,000.
speed restriction. Continue approach.
Okay, with that little bit of extra speed,
Approach 06, ED67.
we are catching, but only just. Still 600 and a bit feet high.
FedEx 2 on Sierra, speed 180 knots.
Speed 180 knots, and we're going to need some extra track miles at that. FedEx 2 on Sierra.
Yeah, I'm alright, no worries. Ryanair 53 Golf November, descend to altitude 4,000
That's screwed up our
feet.
lovely
QNH
CDA, I think.
is 1024.
QNH 1024 descending 4,000 feet right now, factory Golf
So
November.
let's throw the speed rec away now and just let her slow down. So he's clearly trying to get us out of the way of some other traffic. So I think the dream of doing that is long gone at this point, especially at that speed. In fact, I'm going to need some speed brakes to get it down to 180. What am I doing? 180. I should have bugged. Okay, that's a big gotcha. Yeah, it's below our up speed, so I should have bugged up speed. And
Easy
speed check
67
flaps
Tango,
one.
quit land 06, the wind 06089.
Roger, clear to land 06, ED67 Tango.
FedEx 2 on Sierra, you'll be going through the localizer to establish from the north for some extra track miles.
FedEx 2 on Sierra, thank you. Flaps 5. Yeah, so he's going to take us through the localizer and probably swing us back around this way, back onto the final approach track. Not trying to tell him his job, but what he could have done is just sent us out a bit wider. When he gave us that vector, he gave us a vector direct to the centre fix pretty much. He could have given us a slightly wider one, just saying. But I'm not complaining. These guys are completely voluntary and they do an amazing job, so I'm just giving you a realistic whinge that I'm sure a real life crew would be doing at this point. Let's do the approach checklist now. So nav aids, let's double check. We got set. And altimeters QNH 1024 set.
FedEx 2 on Sierra, descend to altitude 3,000 feet, turn right, heading 100 degrees.
Descend to altitude 3,000 feet, right turn heading 100 degrees. FedEx 2 on Sierra. This isn't looking bad, actually. We're pretty much back on the profile now, so let's go vertical speeds.
We're on the exit 1 Echo arrival, passing flight level 16,000.
Alpine 40 computer from Edinburgh, hello information, echoes current descent, flight level 120.
Flight level 120.
So I take back everything I said, he's done a great job. We've only just come through the centre line very slightly, so it's pretty nice actually.
Ryanair 1732, Edinburgh, hello, you with me?
See the auto throttle's struggling a little bit to keep us at 180, but we're well above flap 5 speed, so I'm happy to just let it struggle. If it dropped below that, then I'd be manually sort of giving him a shove.
FedEx 210 on that heading, clear as approach runway 06.
Cleared ILS runway 06 on this heading, FedEx 210. Okay, we're cleared, so we can, in fact, not LNAV, heading cell, what am I doing? Lock, there we go.
Right Air 53 Golf November, turn right, heading
Just adjusting the vertical
30
speed to
degrees,
keep us on the glide
speed
slope.
180 knots.
180,
Right, 330
so
degrees, speed 180 knots, Ryanair 53
about
Golf November.
1400 feet per minute.
86 Tango, welcome to Edinburgh, taxi hold Alpha 15.
Edinburgh approach up to Zangadechi, this is Ryanair 1732, currently at 200.
Okay, let's call the approach
Ryanair
gate
1732, Edinburgh, hello,
1200
standby
feet, so I'll
break,
call
Easy
that,
67
so
Tango,
1200.
right on Alpha, hold Alpha 15.
Wanna go.
Easy 53 Golf November, correction Ryanair 53 Golf November, speed 180 knots.
And we're decreasing 180 knots, Ryanair 53 Golf November.
Now I'm really hoping that we get the localizer before we
Easy
get to
67
3000 feet.
Tango,
We should do.
contact ground 121.755.
If we get
bye.
out the hole, that's going to be bad news. Okay, that's good. And we're ready to hit the button for the approach.
Ryanair
Inside a
1732,
half scale,
Edinburgh
there.
radar, hello, information Echo,
Beautiful.
descend, flight level 80.
Information Echo, descending to 80, Ryanair 1732.
FedEx 21 Sierra, speed 160 or greater till 4 DME, please.
160 or greater until 4 DME and localizer established from 806, FedEx 210.
21 Sierra, thanks. Break, Ryanair 53 Golf November, turn right, heading 030 degrees,
Okay,
descend
so
to altitude 3000 feet.
That was pretty much what we were
clear
planning to do
06.
anyway.
Right, 030 degrees,
So
descend
that doesn't
3000
screw our plans up
feet,
too much.
cleared ILS 06, Ryanair 53 Golf November.
We're just going to be a little bit fast if we go flat 15.
Easy 42 Golf Uniform, descend, flight level 80.
It should be okay.
Well,
Flat 15 limiting speed to 200 knots, so we're well below that. We're just going to be dragging things in a little bit. We'll just wait till 6 to go gear down and 15.
Edinburgh Radar, hello, Easy 4 Tango Bravo.
Easy 4 Tango Bravo, you fully ready?
Hey, fully ready for Easy 4 Tango Bravo.
Easy 4 Tango Bravo, thanks. I've got traffic on my ILS, 6 miles out. 06, you're clear for takeoff, wind 060 at 9.
17 knots.
Clear for immediate
headwinds and
takeoff,
a little bit of a
Easy 4 Tango
cross.
Bravo.
It's looking okay. There's 6 miles.
Alpine
Gear
42
down.
Golf
Speed check,
Uniform,
15.
turn, correction, leave Tartan, heading 280 degrees,
Back
speed
to 160
220 knots.
non-standard.
Leave Tartan, heading 280, speed 220 knots, Alpine 42 Golf.
Ryanair 53 Golf November, speed
Shove a
160
5 knot
till
additive
4.
onto that, so our final approach is going to be
160 Ryanair
149.
53 Golf November.
Okay, that's close enough. So, flaps 30, speed check. Final approach speed 149. Landing checklists. Cabin secure, engine start switches. Ooh. You can tell I'm not used to doing this. Continuous. Speed brake is armed. Landing is down. Flaps 30, plan 30, indicator green light, and that's man land. 310 Barra, missed approach altitude is set, and we are ready to.
FedEx 21 Sierra, pit land 06, wind 060 at 9.
Clear land runway 06 FedEx 21 Sierra. We're good to go.
Ryanair
Manual
53
flight,
Golf
manual
November,
thrust.
fully established.
Ryanair 53 Golf November, flags, continue approach to number 2.
Continue approach number 2, Ryanair 53 Golf November.
Easy 4 Tango Bravo, report your passing altitude.
Passing 2,000 feet, Easy 4 Tango Bravo.
Easy 4 Tango Bravo, thanks, identified. Climb now, flight level 150.
150, Easy 4 Tango Bravo.
Check visual.
Edinburgh, good evening, Easy 84 Delta Fox with you. Information Echo, QH1024 inbound, ag paired.
EV84 Delta Fox, Edinburgh, good evening. You're just slightly outside my range just now. Continue and I'll give you a call when I can see you.
Approaching minimum.
Copy, EV84 Delta Fox, thank you.
Alpine
scene
4
correcting.
Golf Uniform descends to altitude 4,000 feet for
Land.
QNH 1024.
1024, descend to 4,000, Alpine 42 Golf.
50, 30, 20, 10.
Beautiful. Speed brakes up. Reverse as normal. Knots. What about disarm? Just got a bit of a takeoff config warning there for a second as I was trying to keep us from rolling. I just disengaged the auto brakes a little bit too late. We almost stopped on the runway, which would have been a bit of a faux pas.
FedEx 21 Sierra, welcome to Edinburgh. Take your next left onto Alpha and hold Alpha 16.
Next left onto Alpha, hold Alpha 16, FedEx 21 Sierra.
I don't know why I said next left, it's the only left.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Force of habit, I suppose, controlling Heathrow.
Never mind.
The FedEx 21 Sierra, you can contact ground 121.755. Cheers, good night.
Ground 121.755, thank you very much for the ATC. Neptune to FedEx 21 Sierra.
Right there, 53 Golf November, clear to land 06, the wind 06089.
Clear to land 06, right now, 53 Golf November.
Easy 4 Tango Bravo, no further ATC, claim with discretion and over to Unicom, good night.
Over to Unicom 4, Easy 4 Tango Bravo, good rest of your weekend, bye-bye.
Cheers, you too.
Just trying to do the after landing flow. I can't bloody see the strobes lights. Never mind. Let's put the light on. Get us going around the corner. And there we go. We've got it. Those go like that. That's off. Flaps coming up. That's to alt off. And there we go. That's coming on the bus.
Alpine 42 Golf Uniform, speed 180 knots.
Speed 180, Alpine 42 Golf Uniform.
Edinburgh ground. Good evening, FedEx 21 Sierra holding Alpha 16. Request the cargo apron.
FedEx 21 Sierra, hello. Welcome, Edinburgh. Can you do a right Lima?
Yeah, I believe so. FedEx 21 Sierra.
Try so.
Edinburgh ground, easy 2237, request taxi.
Is it 2237 taxi Alpha 106 via Foxtrot Echo Alpha?
Taxi to Alpha 1 via Foxtrot Echo and Alpha, easy 2237.
Thank you.
And ground easy 51 X-ray Victor, no surprise here, we're also requesting taxi.
Last station calling for taxi, call sign only.
Easy 51 X-ray Victor.
Easy 51 X-ray Victor, taxi Golf hold Golf 1, traffic passes left to right, Lima to Mike.
Okay, taxi Golf hold Golf 1 for the traffic, easy 51 X-ray Victor.
FedEx 21 Sierra, taxi please, Lima left Mike, then it should be straight to Mike, then left Sierra, take any stand.
Lima, Mike, Sierra, and then Eddie, stand on the cargo apron. FedEx 2 on Sierra, thanks.
Just call me blocks, please.
Wilco, FedEx 2 on Sierra.
Appreciate it.
259 request taxi.
2259 a taxi, please. Foxtrot Echo Alpha, Alpha 106.
Taxi to Alpha 106, Foxtrot Echo Alpha, EasyJet 2259.
Pretty stressy.
Thanks. Ryder 53 Golf November.
Go ahead, 453 Golf November.
Hello, welcome, Edinburgh Straight Whiskey, taxi Straight Alpha.
Straight Whiskey, Straight Alpha, Ryder 53 Golf November.
So he's sent us up here, which isn't the normal cargo apron that we'd be on. This is the big plane cargo apron, but we'll take it. It's fine. There's plenty of stands up there. Normally, this apron to our left here.
53 Golf November, do a left on mic, and then short mic too.
Right, given that I'm lazy, we're just going to go straight ahead onto 211 here.
Delta departure runway 06. Squawk is 7621.
So, lights coming off.
Search to Geneva by the Gotham 1 Delta departure 06, squawk 7621, easy 58 Lima Zulu.
58 Lima Zulu, correct information, Echo QNH 1024.
Information Echo and QNH 1024, and we'll report when ready, easy 58 Lima Zulu.
Thank you, easy 2259 from here, radar 121.205, have a safe flight away.
121.205, EasyJet 225.
Brakes are set.
Thank
Two
you.
blues, one red.
Easy 51 X-ray Victor, second right, Alpha 106. With radar 121.205, have a safe flight away.
Thank you, over to radar 121.205, bye-bye, easy 51 X-ray Victor.
And FedEx 2 on Sierra's park stand 211. Good night, sir. Thanks for the ATC.
211 set flight plan close, minute 44 at Edinburgh. Thanks much, flying Edinburgh, and have a good night. Bye-bye.
You too, sir. Bye.
See ya. Runner 53 Golf November, stand 24.
I confirm we're just shutting down right now.
That's nice,
Runner 53 Golf November.
They're very friendly. Right, so I'm
going to
turn that volume right the way down so we can hear ourselves think, and we're going to do the shutdowns once we have done the shutdown flow. So, get on the overhead, fuel pumps going off, they're off, going to leave height A on, the pack's coming off, AP bleeds off, that can go open I guess, anti-clock can come off now. Flight directors coming off. IS we wind all the way down to minimum, and we stick this back to 9,900 feet. Ready for the next flight, and this goes 2,000 and off. Get on master caution, and we'll do the shutdown checklist. So fuel pumps are 1 on for the APU, pitot heat is off, electric hydraulic pumps are 1 on for the door, flaps up, parking brake set, engine start levers are cut off, transponder is studded by, weather radars off, anti-collision lights off, accident, serious incident, none to report, and the doors we'll assume they're disarmed. So that's shutdown checklist complete. Okay, we got some ground power, so we'll stick that on, and then we can get rid of the APU and save the ears of all the ground crew.
Alpine 42 Golf Uniform, hello, welcome Edinburgh Straight Lima, left Golf stand 17.
Straight Lima, left of Golf, stand 17 for Alpine 44.
Tomjet 1 X-ray Alpha, request taxi.
Okay, so everything is just sort of turning up and getting ready to start unloading. So at this point, either we'd be getting ready to go home and handing an aircraft over to an engineer. Usually we don't usually do all the close down stuff, although we do sometimes have to do that. Or we'd be getting the aircraft ready for a turnaround to go back down to Stansted, which is probably what we'd be doing unless we were doing a one sector night, which isn't all that common. So there you go. There's a fairly realistic trip in the life of a 737 cargo pilot. Let me know if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. I know this is a bit of a GA channel and we just focus on GA stuff and flight instruction and all that kind of thing. But the three of us who set this channel up are all airline pilots as well, so we're more than happy to do airline stuff now and again. I'd really like to do some shared cockpit stuff actually with Jimbo, because he is a regular NG pilot, although he flies passengers, not cargo. So it'd be good to do some multi-cockpit stuff and along the lines of the Dash 8 stuff that we used to do a long time ago when the channel first started back in the dark days of COVID. So yeah, let me know if you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment, subscribe if you really enjoyed it, leave a like and all that YouTube rubbish stuff, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one, where I'll probably be talking about Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, which is on the way very, very shortly. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.